There we go. All right, guys, welcome back to another Star Wars with the boys.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, we're back. There's not much to talk about. Much more news. There's a little bit more news iterating on the potential trilogy moving forward. It's starting to look like it is a little bit more than just a rumor. It looks like it's a high possibility at this point now. And it's not necessarily a Rey trilogy, but it is a trilogy kind of based off of the Rey character and the characters in that era. And yeah, I mean, it's obviously disappointing. Whether you like the character or not, you were just hoping they can move forward. Every era has had a new hero. Every era has, had time in between where they could kind of make improvements from where they made mistakes before, right? And so I just think it's unfortunate. I don't know. It's not what you were hoping for. I was getting really excited for like the Heir of the Empire stuff. I keep saying it, but like the Thrawn original trilogy of Thrawn by Timothy Zahn, the Heir of the Empire stuff, and just like everything after that, I really enjoyed. And so I thought we'd get a glimpse of that with Dave Filoni's stuff, and that's kind of what was rumored. And it looks like, that's still something they're probably going to do, but it's not going to be impactful, not even near as impactful as the next trilogy is going to be. And it's not a trilogy, it's, episode 10, 11, 12. So, yeah, I don't know. Either way you look at it, I don't think this is what the majority of people wanted. There's always going to be the exception. There's always going to be people who did want it, but it's definitely not the majority.
Yeah. And like every single project, it's possible that, wow, we really like this and all that. And I'm hoping that's how it turns out. I really am. But between the original trilogy and the prequels, there was multiple decades, whereas this is going to be barely any time at all. Like, 5 years ago was the last Star Wars movie, Episode 9? I can't remember exactly when that came out, but so much less time between it, so... Which isn't it's not like you need to space it out the exact same time between each thing, but Star Wars has been having a lot of failures recently, and the last thing you want them to go for is a huge project without slowing it down and getting some momentum before. And I mean, I know they've been doing a lot of side projects, which aren't really side projects, but more like TV shows and other smaller movies recently in the recent past, like the Solo story, all that kind of stuff, but I mean, I think they should give it some more time before they go into the next trilogy. I mean, yeah.
It really shows how much the executives and the quote-unquote suits are in an echo chamber. Because, I mean, you don't have to do much to figure out that overall the sequel trilogy, the stuff with Rey, and a lot of the stuff Disney has done, not all of it, but a lot of it, has been divisive at the very least, and hasn't been taken well by the overall fandom. And there's a difference between like the prequel hate. You can kind of dissect what okay, this is just old people being old. They're gonna be stuck in their ways. They like the original trilogy. They're not gonna like the new stuff no matter what we do, right? You can tell the difference between that, and there's obviously gonna be a bit of that every time a next generation comes up, especially with a big film IP like this. But this isn't even that. I mean, even the younger generation, the kids, they don't. This has turned political. This is what it is. It's not a generation versus generation, which is what it was, and that's healthy because that's natural. But a political split, a political divisiveness with films and an IP that was well before Disney's time, that's not healthy. That's not natural. That's not what's right. And they keep going down that path to, double down, triple down. That's just not good. I don't know how you can be so blind to like the overall population of the fandom to say this is not the right move to make. I mean, if you I keep using Marvel because Marvel was on a very similar trajectory, right? Marvel made a lot of stuff that people didn't mess with, right? They didn't like it. and they made a lot of movies that were not good. They bombed in the box office. That's a little bit different than what Star Wars had. Star Wars didn't have necessarily bombs in the box office, but it's similar that they had stuff that people just didn't like, right? Both of these had that. And where Marvel, instead of getting stuck in their own ways and doubling down, like, no, we're going to keep expanding our roster. We're going to keep making shows and movies on things that people don't care much about. We're going to keep making movies about women empowerment and making this a political thing. They kind of diverted from that, and they kept strands of those things. They're always going to, because they're trying to play both sides. But that in itself, exactly what they're doing. They're trying to play both sides, right? And Star Wars doesn't seem like they're doing that at all. It's like anything that was liked by both sides seems to be ripped apart, and everything that's new seems to be kind of propped up again towards one side of a political setup. And that's just my opinion. That's my outside bird view, but I see that a lot by a lot of people, right? Again, I'm not saying that's everybody. I don't like to use absolutes, right? I'm not a Sith. I'm not going to do that. But it is the majority, right? I don't think I'm not an echo chamber, right? I'm an outside point of view. I put myself in a lot of different Star Wars situations, and I can see for the majority, this is just not the right move. This is not the right play, and it really sucks as a Star Wars fan. We've made a lot of Lego videos, but in like the last couple months we've been making mostly Lego stuff. We've still been making other Star Wars stuff, but like primarily Lego. Not even just the Lego Star Wars anymore, because it's kind of hard to only make Lego Star Wars. We've been kind of branching out, doing like Lego Marvel, and then most recently Lego Fortnite. And it's been so successful for us. It's like really starting to branch out and bring a lot more subscribers in, a lot more views, a lot more comments, and just overall interaction. And it's like, I used to like feel bad because I wanted to stick to Star Wars because that was the root cause of even the creation of this channel. But I don't even feel bad. Like, I feel good at this point. What we just do is essentially we create content we do a lot of reviews because I think it's great to be objective and kind of share our opinion, but also just share an objective opinion, not an objective opinion, but an objective view of said media or content, right? So we do a lot of reviewing on like books, shows, games, movies. But we took that in turn with Lego, and now Lego has pretty much been our main content source. And I think that's healthy. I think it's good, because Star Wars, it's not good, and it sucks. And I don't want to be sucked into this vacuum of toxicity and just blinders on to what the overall fandom actually wants. And so what it seems like I'm not gonna like try to steer this in a certain way, because the whole point of this wasn't to like get YouTube famous or whatever. It was to do something that I was really passionate about and just share and talk about it, right? One of the reasons is because I personally am not a huge people person, but I like Star Wars. I like Marvel. I like sports. I want to talk about it, right? When you enjoy something, you just want to share it, right? You want other people to cherish with you. You want to talk about it. You want to share facts. You want to be, you want what you know to be edited and be kind of shaped into this perfect sphere of knowledge. And same thing with other people in the fandom of any fandom. And so with all that being said, Star Wars is just ruining that, and it's making it so rough. And so I'm not going to steer things. I'm going to let things take a natural course, right? And so it seems like Lego is going to be the primary engine of what content is made on the channel, and these streams that we do weekly are going to be mostly like pop culture, because a lot of the Lego stuff is revolving around pop culture, and I don't think we're ever going to steer away from reviews. I think I'm going to continue to make novel and book reviews and show reviews and game reviews, right? And so we got to kind of talk about the surrounding pop culture media around it. And I still enjoy it, right? Like when we get news and rumors about a new Marvel movie or Marvel show or Star Wars show and movie, and like a producer left, or these are leaks about the plot for this movie or show. I love that stuff. That stuff's super exciting. I'm not in that space. Like, I'm not going to be the one perpetuating new stuff out there, but I love covering it and sharing it with you guys, because I get excited when I hear it, and so I just want to share it with the next person, right? And so we're going to keep doing that. But at the same time, that used to be what the whole center of this channel was, and it's just not anymore. It's so miserable.
Yeah.
Like, It just is.
Yeah. I mean, barring even the political things, it just one of the bigger reasons that I really hate the trilogy thing is just, I mean, Sammy already hit on it. Why they're making a trilogy right now is how disconnected we just seem from the Disney higher ups that are managing Star Wars. Where the last trilogy made money, so they're probably just sitting there asking the other people, why don't we just do it again? And I mean, The Force Awakens was one of the highest grossing films of all time, so it makes sense that people are gonna watch it, but people aren't always gonna enjoy it. As a Star Wars fan, you want content that's gonna be enjoyable, content that's cool, that relates to the other things you've already seen before. And it's not that I never want episode 10, 11, 12. It's that I don't want it 5 years after, or even announced 5 years after the last one was just finished and just wrapped up. There's so much other content between the holes, between the episodes that can be filled, and especially in this kind of dead space where Star Wars is not making a lot, and what it does make, I don't even want to make a review on because everyone just collectively hates it. So it's both not going to do good and it's not enjoyable because I don't like sitting there and saying that, oh, this sucked and this sucked and this sucked. I don't enjoy making a video that way where we just bash on every little aspect of something. So yeah, I mean, we're going with what's enjoyable, what makes more sense, what's doing better technically, not like as Sammy said, not as we're trying to clickbait and get the most views on it, but
it's a natural course.
Yeah, Star Wars is not fun to talk about right now because everything about Star Wars just sucks. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be that way forever. I mean, if Star Wars starts pumping things up and getting things turned around, yeah, we're going to go right back to where we were, which would be great. That's what I'm rooting for. But until then, we're going to make content on what we enjoy and what's better overall in general.
One thing I heard was it takes about 7 years for your body to fully replace like the cells in your body. So by the time 7 years pass, 7 years to this day, technically I could say I'm a new person, right? A lot of all of the cells in my body would be replaced. And that kind of idea of like that time in between is really what's a healthy way of kind of healing some mistakes that have been made. I think is what should be kind of put in place with Star Wars. Any way you want to look at it, the sequel era of movies and content surrounding it, there were a load of mistakes that were made that, whether people enjoyed some of the stuff or not, there was a lot of mistakes made, especially from a PR wise, right? I mean, calling half of your fandom racist or sexist is just gross. I don't know how that even got passed. I don't even know how the people who make those kind of comments are still in the places they are. But either way you look at it, that's a mistake, right? From a business standpoint, that's a mistake. But from a PR standpoint, that's a mistake. From a marketing standpoint, that's a mistake. And I think a healthy way of looking at it is, okay, sequel trilogy wasn't great. We want to make more movies because I think Star Wars should return to a trilogy form. I do. But let's wait 7 years and let's have a real outside point of view. Because from 7 years from when the last sequel movie dropped, I think you should at that time have a good idea, a little bit more of a good idea of what to expect, right? Like we've been saying, like there's a good chance Kathleen Kennedy is not there, 2 or 3 years from now, right? There's a good chance she's not. And that being said, I don't think these sequel trilogy movies would be being pushed out right now if that was being said, right? Like these healthy actions would just kind of course correct on themselves, right? And I think, I get Lucasfilm wants to make money now, right? Of course, especially with some of the stinkers they've been having with the Acolyte and their new game, Outlaws. They're not making a lot of money, right? But you still, Marvel, what did they do this year, 2025? They made one movie. They made a couple of shows, but they really slowed down the steam line of production and just started to put a lot more care and effort about projects going forward, right? And it shows because Marvel's had a lot more hype around it. It's not like, Endgame hype. But people are starting to kind of pay attention and listen again. Oh, Doctor Doom's coming? Oh, RDJ's going to play as Doctor Doom? Oh, Scarlet Witch is coming. Oh, Fantastic Four is coming up. Who's it? Oh, Pedro Pascal. Like, people are getting excited about the actors, the characters, the movie, the IP, because they're taking their time, they're putting care and effort. And Star Wars still seems like they haven't learned. They seem like, okay, we're going to take a break. But they're not putting the care and effort in afterwards, right? Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to delay Skeleton Crew. Oh, let's make a movie that's literally just Stranger Things. I mean, even the music. We didn't cover the trailer because I'm gonna watch that show as homework. I'm not gonna enjoy it from the get go. I might eventually enjoy it, but going in, I've had so many products disappoint me. The trailer's not getting me hyped up. The decisions and the people making decisions surrounding the project aren't getting me ready and hyped up. I'm not going to be hyped up. I'm going to watch it because I'm a Star Wars fan. I have a Star Wars YouTube channel, and so I'm going to do my homework. But boy, am I not excited. It's literally just going to be homework. And it just shows, again, how much of an echo chamber they're in. It's very unfortunate.
I literally almost just said no one would be surprised if another Star Wars TV show came out in a couple months, in a month or two. Like, no one would even notice. That's how Acolyte almost felt. Forgetting in the moment that that's what's about to happen. I almost totally forgot about Skeleton Crew.
I think it was a resounding message to me personally. It always kind of annoyed me when everyone was like, oh, they love The Mandalorian. Because, I thought, if you really like The Mandalorian, you got to do this in your homework. Watch some of the stuff surrounding it, like Kenobi and Boba Fett. And by the time The Mandalorian Season 3 had come out, I was surprised when I was asking all the people I knew, a lot of people, right, from my church, from, school at the time, because it wasn't in high school, but I was still, it was only a year or two after I graduated. So I still knew a lot of people from school and talking about them, and a lot of them enjoyed The Mandalorian. And I was just talking to people, and they didn't even know The Mandalorian Season 3 was airing, right? It just shows how disconnected people are. Boba Fett, no. That was a big disconnect. Kenobi was even bigger, right? And then it just kept going. Andor, I forget what was after Andor, but Ahsoka, which, I think that's another one. Ahsoka was good, but people didn't care to watch it because they think it's political, because they think a lot of the stuff surrounding it is just going to be driven by politics. And that's a fair assumption to make, because you look at the Acolyte, and how can you not make that assumption, right? I don't know. Like I said, this is what these streams have kind of turned into. This is where we talk about pop culture, Star Wars, Marvel, Halo, video games in general. And the main YouTube channel is a review channel and Lego stuff, right? And we'll probably still cover Star Wars stuff, like especially lore and continuity content. But like rumors, leaks, stuff like that, we're just not going to. Like I said, we didn't cover the new trailer for a reason. I don't like making rage bait. That's just not my style.
We literally had a Lego Marvel leaks came out last Tuesday. We're going off of leaks of Lego on a different IP and instead of our own IP because it's just not as enjoyable. Oh.
Yeah. Hey, like I said, we'll see. Speaking of all that, Marvel, they're pretty much done for the year. Venom 3 is out. If you guys watched it, let us know what you guys think. I didn't mind it. I think it was the whole Sony stuff is just mind-boggling because they keep making a lot of dumb mistakes. They keep trying to make movies out of villains, and then they keep trying to make them anti-villains, right? Like anti-heroes. They want them to be goofy and funny and sing and dance, and they want them to be dark and villainous, but also be an anti-hero, right? Like, they keep using the same formula, and it's not working, and then they keep doing it. It's mind-boggling, the decisions Sony keeps making. Venom 3, I don't think it was, Morbius or Madam Web, but, it wasn't anything more than the first two Venoms. So, that was an interesting thing to watch. Let us know what you guys think of that down in the comments. Besides that, there's not much else coming out from Marvel until, 2025. I'm personally pretty excited for the new Captain America stuff. I know a lot of people aren't. They're very weary going into it, which that's fair. I mean, there's a lot of politics shoved in your face with the show, and so you want to be wary because most people in general, they don't want politics shoved in their face, right? You go to watch media shows, any content, to get away from that. That's usually most people's escape. It's watching a show or movie to get away from politics. It just is, right? And so when you have that shoved in your face, people don't appreciate it. And so they definitely don't want that with the new movie. But I have hope that it will be good. I have hope that it will be enjoyable. And I'm excited for it. Not much else really to talk about this week. Anything else you wanted to say?
That's about it.
Alright, guys. That's pretty much it for this week. Let us know what you guys think about what we said down in the comments. Venom 3, Star Wars being pee-pee poo-poo, all that stuff down in the comments. Yeah, we'll be here again next week, same time, 6:10 around that time, around 6 p.m. With that, we hope you guys enjoy the video or stream. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. If you guys are listening on podcast, we appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that follow and download, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.